in here. I knew it would be cold in here.
Oh, I forgot my.
Oh, I'm sorry. I only brought one.
When I was playing my French cat this summer, I would always think of Morval. Always, because I never actually spoke. I was in Honk the musical, which is like the musical version of The Ugly Duckling.
Okay.
Same guys who did the music and stuff for Mary Poppins.
Oh, okay.
But it's very British. But we were all like, well, all the characters have different accents. So the Drake was Irish, the chicken was Southern, the frog was like Cockney. Everyone else was like more standard British, and the cat was French.
Oh, maybe bien sûr. That's how I
Exactly.
read Harry Potter to my daughter before we came about. Very quick we tried to give everybody different lessons. We walked. She would lean over and whisper. Pardon for interrupting. Very loudly in a stage whisper. Sound like that.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
So do the cat for me. You're shy.
Yes.
1,000 acres.
Yes.
Hey, good Shabbos. I was actually talking to one person in particular, but I appreciate I apologize to the new folks. This is my first time back in a month, so I'm very excited to see everyone.
I'm excited, and I was here last week.
Festivus. Do folks know the great, I think it's fair to call it a Jewish holiday of Festivus? Who doesn't know Festivus? Who's totally confused? It's a Seinfeld thing, right? The Day of Complaints. But I've been thinking of Shabbos is sort of the opposite of Festivus. Right? If Festivus is the moment to take, maybe we're leaning too hard into interpreting Festivus here, but you know, Festivus is the moment to take all of our grievances and make them public. Shabbos is the time to take all of the schmutz, and God knows we've got schmutz, right? The schmutz of relationships that aren't quite where we want them to be. The schmutz of 750 emails that we need to respond to. The schmutz of all the details. The schmutz of life. Shabbos is about taking that schmutz and just putting it away for a minute. For 25 hours, not seeing ourselves as the ones who control, but seeing ourselves instead as just passengers. Taking those deep breaths, confident that all the schmutz, all of it, is going to be waiting for us in 25 hours. And yet somehow we will be different. Just put it down. So invite everyone to take a moment to think about your schmutz, to bring it to the front of your mind, whatever it's been this week, and then to put it aside. When it rises back up, because it's very hard to think about not thinking about something, when it rises back up, we just remind ourselves there will be time for that later. Ezra, can we put you on the spot? Would you come light the candles for us? Michael, can we just move the cameras away? Focus them on Leslie for a second. Streamers, you get just a close-up of Leslie. So, Ezra is leaving us. No, leaving us for such good things. They are going off. I'm gonna tell us the name of the fellowship.
Just the Arts and Culture Fellowship at Parties.
So they're going to go off, and for a year they're going to study and live in Jerusalem and learn and argue in the best of senses. And I couldn't be more excited for you. Jealous isn't quite the right word, but I'm totally a little jealous too. The adventure you have ahead of you, and wherever you go, when you're turning at Baruch Hu, when you are lighting the candles, turn a little bit towards us too, because I can promise we'll be turning towards you. Bring in the light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher gidjon b'mitzvotav, v'tzivonu להדליק נר של שבת, וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת.
So I invite everyone to open your sidurs to page 8 as we welcome Shabbos like a wedding, Shabbos like a bride. The idea, what the mystics of Tzfat, when they called this a cosmic wedding, what they meant is that this is a moment when the world shifts. like a wedding. Like a wedding. Like when all of a sudden you become a part of a unit, a two becomes one. This too is a moment of shift if we do it right. If we take Shabbos in, if we're ready to let go, if we are ready to be present with the people we are with. Rabbi Jim, who I'm hoping is going to be back here soon. I always like how he says this, that it's all about the terrible twos of creation giving away to the oneness. Ya la 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 lecha dodi, ya la 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 likras kala, ya la 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 pnei Shabbat nika abila. Shemo v'zachor b'dibur echad hishmi'anu elam yuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad l'shemo tiferet v'litchila. Kabbalat Shabbat, lechu v'nelcha, ki hi makor habrecha, merosh mikerem nesucha, sof maaseh b'machshvat tchila. Invite everyone to turn towards the entrance. Boi v'shalom, ateret pala, gam besimcha u'tzola. Shabbat nika you're standing, I invite you to remain standing. Yeah, don't get too comfortable. You know, if you want to go up and down, though, we're not going to. There's something kind of amazing about this idea that when we say Baruch Hu, wherever Jews find themselves, we all turn towards the same place, which is to say that we all turn towards each other. I was always so cognizant of this during the pandemic, when we'd be staring at a picture of ourselves on a computer streaming screen in our living room. And yet somehow, it was always comforting to say Baruch Hu. It was always comforting to think that no matter where we were, that we're all turning towards each other. Standing, you may be seated. Has anyone else followed this story about the muon discovery? I think I'm saying that word right. Do we have any physicists here to... So we're just going to go with it. Muons. So muons are one of the core particles, right, way beneath atoms. But they've never been measured before. They've only existed as a theory. And they were just able to measure them. And the measurements were wrong. Which is to say, this theory that we have about how the very building blocks of everything is wrong. Which, if you know physicists, is very exciting. This is the idea of Mariv Aravim, to take a moment to back away from the world of people, from the world of what we feel is important, to zoom out of our own lives, or zoom way in the course of muons. And hopefully, taking that perspective, seeing ourselves as cosmically, existentially unimportant, makes it a little easier to take that next breath, to take that next step, to carry the weight that we all have to carry. Let's read together on page 12. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, אשר בדברו מעריב ערבים, בחוכמה פותח שערים, ובתבונה משנה עתים, ומחליף את הזמנים, ומסדר את הכוכבים, ומשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו, בורא יום ולילה, גולל אור מבני חושך, וחושך מבני אור, ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו, לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב ערבים, ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב ערבים, ידידי Judaism has a story about the purpose of life. I guess we've got a lot of stories about that, actually. There's a story that we tell that I don't even believe a little bit, and yet it, I think, is the most important guiding story in my whole life. There's this story that says, before there was anything, there was just the divine. And when it was time for there to be room for creation, the divine contracted, and there was all this overflow. The divine that had been in the space where there was now nothing. So vessels were created to hold the divine overflow. But what vessel could hold something so sacred? These vessels cracked and burst and spread throughout the new creation. And like a clay pot filled with oil, even after these pieces were broke, each of these shards still contains some of the essence of the divine, some of these holy sparks. We're told this is why we were made. That our whole purpose is to connect with other people, to be obligated to each other, to be obligated to this world, to go find those broken shards, to lift up the sparks within them. We, of course, call this tikkun olam, the repair of the brokenness. So we don't stay at the smallness of Mariv Aravim. We come to the connection, to the obligation between us all, what we call love. Page 14. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are embraced route for soothing. We are counseled by voices that guide us, even when we are too embittered to hear. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are supported by hands that uplift us, even in the midst of a fall. We are urged on by eyes that need us, even when we are too weak for meeting. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. We are loved, loved, loved by unending love and unending love. So we take a moment to hold both of these contradictory ideas at once: our absolute smallness and our absolute importance. We hold both of these ideas as we close our eyes, as we shut out the outside world so that we can hear each other just a little bit better. Page 15, Nishma. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 16. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת.
Page 18.
The rabbis of the Talmud who created created our prayer book as we know it, said that there can be no break. You're not even supposed to talk between the Shema and its blessings and the beginning of the Amidah. And yet they put in Mi Chamocha, breaking their own rule. And there's an argument in the Talmud about it. There's an argument between those rabbis who say this is exactly how it's supposed to be, that you're supposed to go straight from the Shema into the Amidah. And then there's the rabbis who win the argument. What they say is that the Amidah is political. It's always political. In the sense that the Amidah is about the gap between the world as it is and the world as we are obliged to create it. And they were worried. They were worried about the world that we would create if we entered into politics feeling too comfortable, feeling too secure, feeling like we deserve what we have and those who have less deserve what they have. So they put the Mi Chamocha there. It's the great experiment of Judaism. Can we take the past? Can we take the awful things that have happened to our people in the past? Can we leverage them? Can we leverage them within ourselves to make sure that the vulnerable of today fare better than we ever did? I don't think they knew this word, but I'm pretty sure if they did, the rabbis would say Mi Chamocha is all about being careful that we don't get too bougie. Bougie, like bourgeois, but slang. Look at those bougie people over there. That's the right. Yididum yiddy ay oh yay day 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 do. Yididum yiddy ay oh yay day 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 do. Yididum yiddy ay oh yay day 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 day. Yiddy ay oh yay day ay oh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha neda b'kodesh. Nora tehilot usefele. Nora tehilot usefele. Yom didi ay 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 oh oh oh. Yom didi ay ay ay. Yidi dum yidi ay ay oh. Yidi day day do. Yidi dum yidi ay ay oh. Yidi ay ay oh. Malechutecha ra'uvanecha. Bokeh yam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Zeli anu ve'yamnu Adonai yimloch le'olam ba'ed. Yay, day, 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 day. Yom tidi ay 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 oh oh oh. Yom tidi ay ay ay.
page 20.
Haskivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, Hamidenu Shomreinu lechaim. Haskivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, Hamidenu Shomreinu lechaim. Allow us to lie and rise in peace. Shalom. Allow us to lie and rise in peace. Shalom. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, Hamidenu Shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, Hamidenu Shomreinu lechaim. Ufros aleinu Sukkot, Sukkot Shlomecha, ufros aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha. Cover over us tonight with a Sukkot Shalom, a shelter of peace for you, for those you love. A Sukkot Shalom over all creation, over all creation. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, Hamidenu Shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, Hamidenu Shomreinu lechaim. I never believe it as much as when Rabbi Randy sings it, but everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright now. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, Hamidenu Shomreinu lechaim. On Shabbos, the Amidah, this political prayer, this prayer for healing, this prayer for justice, this prayer that the rain comes at the right times, this prayer that the people we don't like have bad things happen to them. It's really in there. The prayer that the good and the righteous and those that do good and those that do righteousness shall flourish. They all disappear on Shabbat. And they're all replaced by a prayer for rest. And so we take a moment. We take a moment for a prayer that rest also be political, because of course rest is political. Who gets to rest? Who gets to relax? What that looks like in our world and in every world. It's why the Torah goes into such depth that says, you get Shabbos, but so do the people around you who aren't Jewish. They too get Shabbos. And those who work for you get Shabbos. And your animals also get Shabbos. In fact, there's a leniency in Jewish law for cows, that you're allowed to milk them on Shabbat because it's painful otherwise. But otherwise, animals themselves are supposed to rest. And so we take a moment for our own private, personal, outward-facing prayer. A prayer that we find rest, a prayer that our community finds rest, and a prayer that the whole world has a moment to Shavat vayinafash, to rest and to be renewed. Invite people physically or spiritually to raise themselves up, to rise. So we turn to page 23 for the Amidah. Adonai, Sifatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid, Tehilatecha, Adonai, Sifatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid, Tehilatecha. Adonai, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary. Of our hearts. If you're standing, you may be seated when you're done. The prayers go through page 32, but certainly don't let the words of the page get in the way of the words of your heart. chesed yibane. Yadada, yadada, olam chesed yibane. Yadada, yadada, olam chesed yibane. Yadada, olam chesed yibane. Yadada, I will build this world from love. You must build this world from love. If we build this world from love, God will build this world from love. Olam chesed yibane. Olam chesed yibane. I really think in the last 20 or 30 years, more rabbis have had handcuffs put on them while singing that song than any other song. I have confidence in this. It turned into, for those who don't know, it really turned into the Jewish anthem of resistance and justice over the last decade. Rabbi Susan was arrested and handcuffed in the Capitol in 2016, I guess, at an immigration protest while singing that song. KB was arrested at I think the same multiple times singing this.
I was arrested.
You were arrested singing this song too?
No, I was just
Just
arrested.
Jewish.
We'll sing it next time.
It was actually so powerful in the Capitol that the next day, Rabbi Susan tells this story at a different protest in the Capitol, a protest for Black Lives, that they sang that song there too and got arrested. And it's a melody that has rung through bars and rung through handcuffs and is a cry for justice wherever we sing it. So, it's a different cry that we make for Misha Berach. It's a cry for healing. The healing of ourselves, the healing of our communities, a healing of those we love, a healing of those we don't even know. Rabbi Susan always says that it's not a prayer for a cure, because we know that a cure is not always possible, but healing is always possible. And so if you're thinking of someone right now in need of healing, I invite you to share their name.
Rabbi Susan, Rabbi Randy.
Yeah.
I know they're not here, but I know they're here.
Thinking of them and Rabbi Jim and yeah. Yeah, everyone over in Maui, absolutely. Absolutely. Thinking of them. Thanks for mentioning them. Sarah. Carol Portman. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mike Brown.
Yeah. And his whole family.
Your mom.
What'd you say?
Your mom.
For my mom, thank you, Leslie. She gets mad at me when I say it, but if you say it, I think it.
Come on, Denise, bring it on.
Yeah. For your nephew Sean. Thank you, Sean. Michael, do we have names from the stream?
Yep, we are praying for Fred.
Fred, thank you. Page 34, we fill our hearts with prayers for healing.
My friend Teresa's niece, Jamie.
Source of strength, who bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, We say, Baruch atah Adonai Rofeh HaCholim. Blessed is the source of goodness in this world that calls us to be agents of healing. We say, Amen. And we begin to end our services. I always feel like that is a very Jewish phrase. Like, I'm going to go say goodbye and then we'll leave, so I'll meet you at the door in 45 minutes. It's really, with the words of Aleinu, page 38, invite folks to rise physically or spiritually or both. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tekiru liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot hadama, shelo sam chelkinu kahem, וגורלנו ככה המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים, הוא אלוהינו, אין עוד, אמת מלכנו, אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת יום והשבות אל לבבך, Ushemo Echad. If you're standing, you may be seated. As we take a moment, as we do at the end of every service, to acknowledge those in our community who are in mourning, those who are experiencing the immediacy of grief, of loss, of Shiva, of Shloshim, those in the year of loss, those who are observing a yahrzeit, an anniversary. If you're just missing them, today, I invite you, if you've got a name, if you're thinking of someone, to put up a hand or to rise or some other way that we can acknowledge you and hear the names.
John Williams III and Jason Hurd.
For Jason, for John, of a blessed memory. For your grandma, Carol Webb. Did you have a grandma name you called her? Mimi. I love it. Standing with it for for Mimi. For Paul. Ugh, it feels like he should be here. Particularly when we're doing Torah study. It feels like we should have those quips. We miss him with you.
My brother Jerry Vesper.
For Jerry, a blessed memory. I am so sorry. Thank you for sharing their names. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be a blessing. I. So sorry. Thank you for remembering them with us, and we're here for you as you walk this path. Ezra. For Evergreen. Thanks, Ezra. For your Grandpa James. Did you have a grandpa name for him? Grandpa James, okay. Have a blessed memory. Lisa and Stan, did you have? No. For your grandma. Thinking of him every time we're in here. Ugh. These people, it feels like our community was robbed of mourning with you. These people we lost in the pandemic. But we love him and we love you and we think of him and for your mom, a blessed memory. For your Grandma Roz. For your Grandma Roz. Yeah.
My dad, John Williams Jr.
For your dad. For your dad, John. We've got yahrzeits this week for Edwin Stubb and Hyman Silverberg. For Jerry Vesper and Linda Barton. For Ruth Martin and Sam Rosenblum. For Al Chapnick, Andrea Miles. For Ellie Friedman and Florence Sape. For Frank Golub and Harriet Bernstein. For Janet Bensky and Jan Mulder Jr., for Julia Goldstein and Marty March, For Benny Herman and Isidore Rosenblum and James Chavias. For Martin Schwab, for Ruth Isserman. For Elizabeth Joyce and Ferd Isserman. For Florence Tucker and John Hunter. For Kate Gibbs and Shirley Oberman. For Tetby Friedman and Ann Kushner. For Charlotte Mabilote. Say it properly, will you? Mabilot. Okay. Of a blessed memory. For Maura Val's grandma. For Gabe Weil and Marilyn Bierman. For Mindy Kaiser and Nathan Kessler. For Roy Bigelow and Susan Merrick. For Alatar Gentry and Don Shifter. For Eileen Joseph and Judith Slatopolsky. For Martin Barnholtz and Sandra Rosen. Simon Klein and Sylvia Bertram. For Wendy Weissman Whittington, that's Doug Weissman's sister. And for Bev Roden. For Gerhard Ansbach and Harry Kargas. For Maria Castro de Navarro and Oscar Rosenberg. For Sharon Levin. And for those we've lost in our community in this last year. Boy, it's a year for Paul, isn't it? Wow. For Daniel Williams, it's almost a year. Mindy Kaiser, Vera Von Kropp and Patty Twellman. For Bruce Schneider, Nikki Nymark. For Lois Chait. For David Adelstein, Harriet's beloved husband, Cheryl's dad. For Bert Newman. For Gloria Sirkin, Nancy's mom, Nancy's amazing mom. For Kathy Lass, Lois Loomstein. For Bobby Sparks. Ben Neiman, Paul Michel and Harry Prince. For Sheila Bess, Francis Rothschild. For Marcia Wofsy. For George Spooner. For Carrie James and Raphael Schwartz. For Moisey, for Dr. Shopper, and for Sue Smith. For Marjorie Shepard, Matt Blickenstaff. For Aaron Coleman and Linda Randall, Randy's mom, Rabbi Randy's mom. Hilda Polsky and Maurice Veron. For Tovia Siegel and Susan Hockman. For Andy Pultman and Sarah Kessler. Gary Morris and Morton Orenstein. For Susanna Mondello. For Roger Goldman, the founder of our congregation. For Margie Buxner. Michael, do we have names from the stream?
Yes, we're remembering Thelma and Bernard Edelstein, Maureen, Gary J. Morris, Grandpa Zerfus, and Uncle Claude.
So invite everyone as you are able to rise as we stand shoulder to shoulder with our mourners to remind them that we do not walk this path of grief alone. Page 41. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah ve'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael Bagala uvizman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevorach le'alam olamei almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudashah barichu la'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'miran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. Oseh Shalom, Bimromam, Uyase Shalom, Aleinu, Ve'al kol Yisrael, Ve'imeru, Zichronam Livracha, may the memories of all of those that we miss be a blessing in our lives. And we say, Amen. If you're standing, I invite you to be seated as we take a moment for the sacred task of announcements. I think I said it before I went to camp, but we just spent a month at Camp Sabra, where Karen is the arts and crafts person, and I am Bongo, the song guy. A nickname Rabbi Randy gave me when I was 12, by the way. But anytime you say the word announcements, it launches a really long song that anyone there starts singing. The people, announcements. So I said announcements, and I braced myself. There you go. So a few announcements. Mitzvah Garden, for those who don't know, we grow tons of vegetables, literally tons of vegetables that go over to Trinity Food Pantry in our Mitzvah Garden outside. So every Sunday at 6 o'clock, come and get your hands and your knees and your feet dirty and pick and pull and weed and harvest and plant and all of the amazing things that happen with the incredible crew. It's also a great way just to meet folks. It's really a blast out there. Yeah.
That's 6 a.m. or 6 p.m.?
Oh, it is p.m. We don't do anything at 6 a.m. here. It's really 6 p.m. in the garden. Good question. August 12th, is that tomorrow? It is. We have Grief Support Group. With actually a big thank you to Bryn for singing with us today. And it's Bryn's mom, the amazing Jamie Sentnor, who runs the Grief Support Group. So if you're looking for a place just to talk, just to be with folks, it's an incredibly powerful space. It's at 12:30. It's in person and on Zoom. So you can do either one, but it's so that after services are over, you can have a little snack at the Oneg and then join us in the library if you'd like. Everyone is welcome. It goes from 12:30 to 1:45. Next Friday night, we have a Tat Shabbat. So at 5:30, we'll be outside. If you have little ones in your world, bring them. Or if you just are highly immature, you're also welcome to join us. It's really a lot of fun. We sit outside, we have a little service, we have a picnic dinner. It's very cute. So 5:30 next Friday. Just another announcement that High Holy Days are coming. We had another musical practice today. The music is gonna be amazing this year. The brothers Lazaroff have taken it on to help produce the holidays. So Leslie and Alan and the Lazaroffs and a professional bass player and guitar player and fiddle and mandolin and flautist, and am I forgetting? Rabbi. And I put a little snippet of today's practice on Facebook if you want to check it out, but it's going to be really amazing, and the continuity of the CRC melodies that we are familiar with, and a whole new way of approaching them and appreciating them and entering into the holidays. So really, it was. I don't even know what the word. Can you say hopping about High Holy Day music? I don't know. But it was amazing.
What time does it start?
The holidays. Does anyone remember when Rosh Hashanah is the date?
September 15th. Friday.
September 15th. There you go. Next year, the year after, Rosh Hashanah is not until October. Yeah, right? Services, I don't know. I'm not going to answer that because whatever I say is probably going to be wrong. Check the website, centralreform.org. Yeah. No, as we get closer, we'll have that. And just as a reminder, I know we have a lot of folks here who are visiting for the first time. We do not have tickets at CRC. We've never had tickets. It's really one of the foundational values of our congregation. So don't stress about tickets. We'll send out an email, and we do have everyone RSVP, mostly for numbers and security reasons. But watch out for those emails, and if you're not on our email list, go to the website, and I believe you can sign up there. Any other announcements? Okay. Let's put our arms around each other, shall we? Give each other a blessing.
May God bless you and smile upon you, and may God's light shine upon you and keep you safe.
May your life be filled with the joy that Danny and I experienced this afternoon in rehearsal.
And most of all, for us, for our families, for our community, for our whole world, may we all have the gift of peace. We say, Amen. Amen. And Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
And, regulars, do your thing and say hi to all the new folks.